Long ago, in a small quiet village, there lived a boy named Jack with his widowed mother. They had nothing but a shabby little cottage, and only source of income they once had. A cow was now too old to give milk. Hunger had become their everyday companion. One evening, Jack's mother sat sadly by the fire and spoke with a heavy heart. "Jack, my dear, we don't have any food left. This cow is useless now. Tomorrow you must take her to the market and sell her. At least then we'll have some money to survive." Jack nodded quietly, holding the rope of the cow, and promised he would do as she said. The next morning, Jack set off down the country road with the cow. The sun shone gently, and he kept wondering, "What will I get for her? Maybe a few coins, maybe some bread." As he walked, he noticed a strange old man sitting under a tree. His beard was long and white, and his eyes sparkled with mystery. Old man said, "Hello there, young boy. Where are you taking that cow?" Jack said, "To the market. She no longer gives milk. I must sell her or else my mother and I will starve." The old man smiled and reached into his pocket. He pulled out 5 tiny beans, glowing faintly with magical colors. Old man then said, "I have something far better than money. Look here, 5 magic beans. Plant them in your garden, and wonders will grow beyond your imagination." Jack said in excitement, "Magic beans? Are they really magical?" Old man said, "Indeed, boy, these beans will change your life. But you must trade me your cow." Jack hesitated, but his curiosity and hope got the better of him. He handed over the cow and clutched the beans tightly in his hand, running home full of excitement. Jack shouted in excitement, "Mother, look, I got something far greater than money, 5 magic beans." But his mother's face turned pale with anger. Mother said, "Magic beans? Jack, you foolish boy, we needed food and money, not tricks. Now we have nothing, no cow, no food, nothing at all." In despair, she threw the beans out of the window and sent Jack to bed without supper. At dawn, Jack awoke to an astonishing sight. From the garden, a giant beanstalk had sprung overnight, so tall that it pierced the clouds above. Jack whispered, "The beans, they really were magical. I must climb this and see where it leads." Ignoring his mother's pleas, Jack grabbed the sturdy vine and began to climb. Higher and higher he went until he reached a land above the clouds. There, standing in the distance, was a magnificent castle, larger than anything he had ever seen. Jack walked to the castle and knocked on its enormous door. It creaked open, revealing a kind but worried-looking woman, a giantess. Jack said, "Good lady, please may I have something to eat? My mother and I are starving." Giantess said, "Oh, child, you should not be here. My husband is a terrible giant. If he finds you, he will eat you alive. But I cannot let you starve. Come quickly, I'll give you some food." She gave Jack bread and milk, but before he could finish, the castle shook with heavy thundering footsteps. Giantess said, "Quick, hide in the cupboard. My husband is coming." The giant stomped in, sniffing the air. "I smell the blood of an Englishman." Giantess said, "Nonsense. You are just smelling the food I have cooked." The giant grunted, sat down, and devoured his meal. Then he demanded, "Bring me my hen." The giantess brought out a beautiful golden hen. At his command, it laid a shining golden egg. Soon the giant dozed off, snoring loudly. From his hiding place, Jack's eyes widened in wonder. Jack whispered, "A hen that lays golden eggs. This could save my mother and me forever." Silently he crept forward, grabbed the hen, and slipped out of the castle. He hurried down the beanstalk, heart racing. When his mother saw the hen lay a golden egg, her eyes filled with tears of joy. Mother said, "Oh, Jack, you have saved us. We'll never be poor again." For a time, Jack and his mother lived happily, but Jack's curiosity grew. Jack think that if the giant had a hen, perhaps he has more treasures. I must go again. Once more, Jack climbed the beanstalk and reached the castle. The giantess saw him and gasped, "You again? You are lucky my husband hasn't found you. Leave before it's too late." But Jack pleaded and she pitied him, offering food once more. Suddenly, the ground shook. The giant was home again. Jack darted into the cupboard. The giant sniffed. "I smell the blood of an Englishman." Giantess said, "Oh, nonsense. You smell my cooking." The giant ate heartily, then roared, "Bring me my treasure chest." The giantess carried a heavy chest filled with glittering gold coins. The giant counted them, yawned, and soon fell asleep. Jack's heart pounded as quietly as he could. He dragged the chest toward the door and escaped. He slid down the beanstalk, wealth clinking in his arms. Now, Jack and his mother not only had the golden hen but gold to live a life of comfort. Still, Jack's adventurous heart would not rest. Weeks later, he whispered to himself, "One last journey, just once more." He climbed the beanstalk again. This time, the giant had something new, a golden harp that played sweet music all by itself. When the giant had eaten and begun to snore, Jack crept out of his hiding place and reached for the harp. But the harp was alive and it cried out, "Master, someone is stealing me." The giant woke with a roar. "Thief, stop right there." Jack bolted, clutching the harp. The giant thundered after him, shaking the ground with every step. Jack reached the beanstalk and scrambled down as fast as his hands and feet could move. The giant climbed down after him, rage burning in his eyes. Jack shouted, "Mother, bring me the axe." His mother rushed out with an axe. With all his strength, Jack struck the beanstalk, and the beanstalk came crashing down. The giant tumbled from the sky, roaring until he vanished forever. At last, Jack and his mother were safe. With the golden hen, the chest of coins, and the magical harp, they lived a life full of music, wealth, and joy.